So if you know me at all, you know I love Stardew Valley. And when I say love, I mean in reality I have an unhealthy obsession that started 9 years ago when I first got the game for the PlayStation back in 2016. And since then I have played on my PlayStation and my computer and my Nintendo Switch. I have easily put over 1,500 hours into that game. Unhealthy obsession. So, since I have an obsession with Stardew Valley and I have an obsession with baking, obviously I was gifted the Stardew Valley cookbook. Twice. And I've never actually made anything in the book. Like, don't get me wrong, when I first got the book, I flipped through the pages and I'm like, oh my god, all of these are so cool. But at the same time, it's sectioned out into the different seasons, you know, spring, summer, fall, winter, and it's winter right now. So I can't make any of the other recipes because a lot of the recipes involve seasonal ingredients that aren't available to me right now. Well, they are, thank you to refrigeration trucks, but I don't trust it. I don't trust seasonal items in their non-seasonal time. But if you know Stardew Valley, you've played the game before, you know of a character, Evelyn, who shares with you her beautiful, amazing recipe for chocolate chip cookies. I got that recipe here, and I'm gonna make them right now. When I first decided that I wanted to make these cookies, I'm like, oh my god, I should make a baking video out of it because it's gonna be quick and simple and easy, for God's sakes. It's chocolate chip cookies. And then I started reading the recipe and I realized this is gonna take me several hours. So if you see the lighting change at any point in time, that is the sun setting. And I just assumed that this is gonna take me so long that by the time that I finish this video, by the time I get to the taste test, it's gonna be pitch black outside. Like, you're not gonna be able to see it at all. So we gotta get this shit started. Because I have high hopes for this recipe. I have high hopes for this cookbook because not only is it giving me the measurements of the ingredients in grams as well as, you know, tablespoons and cups and all that junk, but the first step of this recipe is making brown butter. Which, say less, fucking love brown butter, which if you didn't know is just butter that you cook in a pot until brown, and it adds like a depth of flavor to any baked good or really anything that you put brown butter in. So the fact that it's telling me to make brown butter, just mwah, chef kiss. So we're gonna start by putting 165 grams of butter into a pot, or if you use normal sticks that aren't the size of 2 sticks, 1.5 sticks. So I'm gonna put this on the stovetop and cook for, the recipe book says about 7 to 10 minutes. I'll update you in 7 minutes. Cause here's what the butter looks like now. It obviously looks like butter. And after about 7 minutes, I'm not entirely sure, I wasn't keeping track. This is what the butter looks like now. It's brown, it smells absolutely delicious. There have been times in my life where I was making brown butter and people would come into the kitchen being like, oh my god, that smells amazing, what are you making? It's fucking butter. It then tells me to put the brown butter into a bowl and let sit for about 30 minutes to cool. So I'll see you in 30 minutes. This is why the video is gonna take forever. This is why it's gonna get dark outside before I finish. Actually, I was just reading the next step of the recipe and it says to take 70 grams of oats, aka 3/4 a cup. 3.5 cup, no. That's so much oat. Take the oats, blend them into a fine powder, so I'ma do that. I was weirded out first because I'm like, it's calling for oats. But in the picture, and I just assumed in the game, they were not oatmeal chocolate chip cookies. I guess technically they're not since I'm blending this into a flour.
Gotta love playing the game. How can I make my neighbors hate me today?
Okay, so it's been less than 30 minutes. I'm over this. I'm over waiting. The recipe says to just wait until it's like still kind of warm, but like not hot to the touch. And I know that's because eventually we're gonna be adding eggs to this recipe, and if the butter's still hot, it will cook the eggs. You will have scrambled eggs in your cookie, and no one wants that. But it's honestly not that warm even. Like, let's get this shit on oh my god, I cannot speak. I'm too excited for these cookies, obviously. So in a bigger bowl, I add the oats that I grounded up earlier, 140 grams of flour. Gotta add some to the cookbook too that I just spilt on because I do not trust people that have clean cookbooks. If your cookbook doesn't look like you put the food that you made directly on the cookbook, you're not using cookbooks right. We're gonna add 1 teaspoon of baking soda. I was about to say powder. It says soda, both in the recipe book and on this bag. And we're gonna add 3/4 teaspoon of salt, but I just threw the measuring spoons into my sink. So I'm gonna wing this part. Yeah, sure, fuck it, why not? And then it tells me to whisk to combine. That's it. That's the cookies. We're done. Woo! Thank you guys so much for being here and so much for watching. Actually, now we're just moving on to the brown butter bowl. The BBB, if you will. Not to be confused with the BBC, which is a program in England and nothing else. Where we are going to add 150 grams of brown sugar to this beautiful, delicious mixture that I want to just eat spoonfuls of. I think that would be a fun time. Not for my heart or any of my arteries or my body in general, but for my brain, good time. We're also gonna add 100 grams of granulated sugar, which only makes me want to eat you more. And then we're gonna mix it up. The book tells me to whisk it together. I already made this spoon dirty by scooping out the brown sugar, so I think I'm just gonna use the spoon that I used for the brown sugar. Okay, I'm letting the little goblins in my brain do what I want to do, and I'm gonna just taste a little bit of it because I want to. It's just butter and sugar. I could eat this whole bowl in one sitting, but I can't. I'm not going to. We gotta ruin this somehow. And we're gonna do so by adding an egg and an egg yolk. The recipe says that they should be room temperature. I didn't pull out the eggs early enough. Honestly, I pulled out the butter because I'm like, I'm making cookies, and then I read further into the recipe and I'm like, I'm melting the butter anyway, so now I don't have to pull out butter, not thinking about the eggs. Also, technically these eggs are expired, but as long as they don't smell weird, I'm still using them. Let me do a little sniff test for the eggs. I smell literally nothing, so we're good. And now I weird people out by separating the eggs by hand because I'm a professional, and this is how professionals separate eggs. But every time I do this, there's one person that's like, oh, that's gross. Why are you doing it that way? Did you see how quick that was? Fucking lightning speed. But now I add the eggs to the sugar, butter, beautiful, absolutely godlike perfection of a concoction. And I fucked it up. I added eggs. Now I don't want to eat it anymore. I'm also going to be adding 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract into this, so come with me. I gotta sort through my fucking extracts. What do we got? We got lemon, we got peppermint, we got almond, we got coffee, we got coconut, we got strawberry, we got root beer, we got raspberry, we got butter, we got anise, we got caramel, banana, rum, maple, orange, cinnamon. None of these are vanilla extract. Never mind, found the vanilla extract. It was in the drawer. Nowhere near all the other extracts I have, but 2 teaspoons, again, already through the measuring, I was gonna say cups, measuring spoons in the sink. So yeah, sure, fuck it, that's good. It then tells me to add the flour mixture into the brown butter bowl. I fucked up the sizes of these bowls, so I'm gonna do it the opposite, and hopefully they don't turn out horrendous. They're not. I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing. Kinda. But we take that and we whisk. Very weirdly. I understand why it wanted me to put the flour into this mixture instead of the other way around. I should have read the recipe fully. What is with me not mise en placing? Because I'm a professional and I think I'm better than that apparently. I'm not. And now I'm struggling. I'm also gonna move over to a rubber spatula and kind of fold in the dry ingredients like the recipe says. I don't know why I've been ignoring the recipe. I feel like Evelyn knows how to make her cookies and I should not question her. So here is what the dough looks like, and now it's time to add chocolate chips. The recipe book that's right here in front of me says 225 grams of semi-sweet chocolate chips. And here I have, oh my god, why are you melted? I was running my dishwasher and my counter gets really hot when I run the dishwasher. Oh no! I pulled these out because I knew I was gonna use them, but now I'm very afraid to open the bag, honestly. Here, I have scissors. Oh no, I messed up. I fucked up. Yeah, I fucked up. This bag is very squishy and I'm not entirely sure I know what to do now because I have more chocolate. It's just very large, like, milk chocolate, but I wanted them to be semi-sweet, so it was time to go to my local grocery store where I went to the baking aisle and they didn't have semi-sweet chocolate chips. This was the selection they had. They had M&M's, Heath, they had peanut butter chips, they had white chocolate chips, toasted coconut, non-toasted coconut. The closest option they had was 0 sugar chocolate chips, which I was not getting. So I had to go to a second grocery store. And I need you
and I miss you.
I'm back with chocolate chips. Notice how it's significantly darker in here now? I had to turn on the lights. That doesn't even really help. This is what it would be like if I turned off the lights, but I'm gonna, I don't know, put chocolate chips in the cookie dough that has been sitting out on my countertop while I was trying to get the chocolate chips. They said they wanted the eggs to be room temperature. They're definitely room temperature now. But now we add 225 grams of semi-sweet chocolate chips. And now I put this up in the cabinet so it doesn't accidentally go on top of my dishwasher, and I ruined them. Like I ruined these. Don't worry, I'll find a use for these eventually, but I would prefer they be in actual morsels, considering that's what the bag says. And now that the chocolate chips have been incorporated into the dough, and after, you know, going to 2 separate grocery stores, it is finally time to put this in the refrigerator for 30 minutes. God damn it! It says to refrigerate until a scoopable consistency, and I could very heavily argue that this is a scoopable consistency, but who am I to argue with Evelyn, Queen of Sauce? So that's gonna chill in the refrigerator, and I will see you when it somehow becomes significantly even more dark in here. Okay, so the cookie dough has not been refrigerated for 30 minutes, but I read further into the recipe, and after I scoop these, they have to sit in the refrigerator again for an hour, so I'm gonna probably do 45 minutes for that, but in the meantime, let me scoop these because I want to be done with this video before 9 p.m. So the recipe says to divide the dough into about 55 gram pieces, or something that would be about 3 tablespoons big. I have a cookie scoop. 55 grams exactly. Well, all right, I'm using the cookie scoop. How much do we want to bet that the people that made this recipe have this exact cookie scoop, and they just measured it out for people that don't have this exact cookie scoop? Because I'd bet a lot of money on that, I'm not gonna lie. I feel the trauma sneaking back in from when I was working at my old bakery and I would have to scoop like gallons of cookie dough. Like I could easily scoop like 500 cookies in a night. So now every time I scoop cookies, I imagine that, and I swear to God, culinary school in the restaurant industry gave me PTSD, and I don't know how to explain that to other people. I just broke my scoop. Do you see that? Do you see how this metal bit isn't supposed to be sticking out like that? See how it doesn't fully go back into the scoop? Hold on, let me see if I can fix this. Okay, I fixed it, kind of, sorta. Now it's broken in the other direction. I'll take it, it's fine. I got like maybe 8 cookies left. I broke it again, but I only have 1 cookie left. Approximately, maybe 2, depending on how good I can shove this in here. Yeah, I got some leftover bits and pieces. I'm not gonna lie, it's mostly chocolate chips in here. Say this is like 50% chocolate chip. Well, the cookie dough's good, but it says to refrigerate the little balls for at minimum an hour. At maximum 48 hours. I'm gonna do like 45 minutes. See how it goes after that. The cookies are out of the refrigerator. It's been, honestly, an hour. I lost track of time watching the new episode of Abbott Elementary where they do a crossover with Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Fucking top tier writers on both of those shows. Anyway, I'm supposed to put these on another tray with parchment paper. Hold on, I gotta read the recipe. I just saw that my oven was preheated to 350 degrees and I started getting into shit without actually knowing what I'm doing. That's been this entire video. So the recipe says take a sheet tray, line it with parchment paper and put 6 cookies on there and then bake that and then be done with that. Put in a new sheet tray, new parchment paper, 6 more cookies. And it says to do 2 batches of baking, but it says it makes about 16 cookies. If I'm putting 6 cookies on each tray, and you're telling me that I need 2 the math ain't mathin'. I'm not that good with math, but I know basic addition, subtraction, division. Okay, I'm gonna put 16 divided by 8. I'm gonna put 8 cookies on a tray, and the recipe book can't stop me. Here are my 8 cookies on a tray that I will now put in a 350 degree oven
for 12 to 14 minutes, aka 13 minutes. Alright, it's been 13 minutes. How we looking? Gorgeous, beautiful. Let me pull them out of the oven so I don't burn my hand while holding a GoPro. They're beautiful, gorgeous. Look at that motherfucker. Time to put the other ones in. Goodbye, my beautiful precious babies.
I'm also just now reading in the recipe that I was supposed to rotate the tray halfway through the baking time. I didn't do it with the first one. Will I do it with the second one? I don't know, maybe. Usually when recipes say to rotate the tray halfway through baking, it's because the back of your oven is warmer than the front of your oven, so you want an even baking. So, I don't know, fuck it, why not? I'll rotate this second tray. I'll do a little science experiment, see which one turned out better. I'm also reading the rest of the recipe. I really should have done this in the first place before I even started. But now it's telling me that the 4 portions that were supposed to be left over from the 16 cookies not being on the first 2 sheet trays, I'm supposed to do a 3rd round of baking and put those in there. But to be fair, my sheet trays are a lot bigger than normal people's sheet trays. I got the big boys. It also says that after 5 minutes on the tray after baking, I'm supposed to put them on a little cooling rack, but this is also the perfect time to rotate my cookies. Woo! And then I put cookies from here onto here. Yay. And 1. And 2. I'm not gonna count all of them. Cookies. And we got another 13 minutes done and over with, which means the cookies are done and over with. And now, after waiting another 5 minutes, I transferred the newest batch of cookies. Oh, fuck, no! Five-second rule. Anyway, sad that cookie fell on the floor. I gotta put this one like off to the side. I'm bringing these to a party tomorrow. Can't let anyone eat the cookie that fell on my floor. I can eat the cookie that fell on my floor. I know what's been on these floors. I know how often I clean my kitchen floors. Maybe I should throw that cookie away. So I have the first batch of cookies here, and I think it's time for a taste test. They're still kind of warm. They're pretty cooled down though, but do you see that melty chocolate? Oh my god, I'm so excited. Goobs is here too. Trying to lick the floor where the cookie dropped. No, don't stop! But buddy, I know you're hungry. You get fed in like an hour though. Anywho, taste test time. Evelyn, you beautiful son of a bitch. If you weren't married to George, I swear to God. But yeah, I mean, it's a chocolate chip cookie. They taste like chocolate chip cookies. They're good chocolate chip cookies, like really good because of the brown butter. Put brown butter in all of your shit. This is a PSA. But yeah, this is a really good recipe, honestly. Like, I'm excited to try out more recipes from this book because I own a lot of nerdy cookbooks. Cookbooks that are centered around pop culture, TV shows, video games, like nerdy shit. And I feel like a lot of those cookbooks cater more towards the nerdy shit than the actual cooking part of the cookbook. Skyrim cookbook. But like from asking you to use kosher salt instead of table salt, like it's good in that aspect. It had you make brown butter, and it tells you the steps and specific things about making the brown butter that I really appreciate. Like, hey, there are gonna be brown bits at the bottom of your brown butter. You can include that in the cookie. It adds extra flavor. Or talking about cooking 6 at a time on a sheet tray and then another 6 and then 4 after that. I didn't follow that because I'm a professional and I know what I'm doing, but if you weren't and you didn't, I think this cookbook is amazing. Like, I'm definitely gonna have to make more stuff from this book, but this is all I got for now. So thank you guys so much for being here and so much for watching. And I will see you guys when I see you guys next. Goodbye.